But yeah.
Make sure this is running.
So pretty much that was perfect here.
Yeah.
This is a unit shot. Good idea.
Yeah. Scene 2 alpha, take 1.
Creative sovereignty. Sovereignty in so many different ways. I look at sovereignty within myself, in the food that I eat, and indigenous sovereignty, sovereignty to land, sovereignty to just being able to create for art's sake.
What we're doing here is called the Creative Sovereignty Lab, which is an apprenticeship training program that's running alongside the short film that I'm co-directing with Kyle called Braided Together.
Some of us were working in professional contexts. Some of us were working in grassroots, community-based contexts, where we were able to kind of slow things down and notice what it looked like for young people from very diverse backgrounds. What would it look like to bring some of these very sweet elements that maybe you could describe as like spirit or community-based practices? What would it look like to bring that onto a professional film set?
Speed, camera rolling.
And memorize.
Film sets now are set up in this way where there's a hierarchy, and it feels like there's not a lot of room for learning.
To try to create a space that's intentional. And to me, what intentionality is to take foundations of what we think is important in our worldview and our life and really setting them in the foreground, not just letting them be in the background.
Even like I've heard a lot of people who say that they need breaks out of the film industry because like things just become too overwhelming and too toxic.
Before this experience, I was still kind of like a little lost and scared of like how to jump into and like where I would learn the proper skills needed to do this sort of work.
We had apprentices paired with professionals in their field in sound, cinematography, direction, production, and then these apprentices, you know, they weren't just shadows, they were really engaged in production.
So it was a bit intimidating coming on here not really knowing what I'm doing, but Zoe is like such an amazing mentor. Super patient, super just very, I feel like we're very much on the same wavelength.
So for this scene, and then for scene 14, Hannah's gonna be the one. This shot is like more about Tanaya.
I think what's different here is there is that intention, there's that time taken to be learning and to be creating that environment.
We don't know each other from the hologram until this. It's this like intense like adventure, and then but we're all being held together by values that were established at the start.
Honestly, the most like family that a set has ever been. There was a natural flow to everybody collaborating, which is very different than what regular productions are like.
Creative Sovereignty Lab is about world building. It's about worldview building. It's about nation building. It's about building sovereignty, building trust, not only in others, but also in yourself. That you belong, that your voice and your culture and your traditions belong and are needed.
When I go to meet new people, I have like this, I'm gonna have this like way about me that's gonna be like, we have to fight for something you guys don't know about yet, or maybe you do in your own way, but you gotta check this out because like, it can happen, right? Like we can all just like, we can get better.
Since contact with settlers, this is like the exact thing that they didn't want us to do. But here we are doing it, and it's just very, very powerful and special to be a part of it and to just like have all of these great people and artists together doing this together, because it's just like, we're doing it. We're doing it and no one's stopping us.
Let's cut. And that great set.
1, 2, 3, yeah!